I'm Dr. Brian Salvatore. I'm a professor of chemistry at LSU in Shreveport. I have a bachelor's degree, a PhD, and postdoctoral training in chemistry. I am also a counselor for the Northwest section of the American Chemical Society. I sit on the governing body of the National ACS. I am not an environmentalist. I have a lot of training in chemistry, and I use my training responsibly. And I would hope that everybody with that degree of training could say that. Chemistry could be the worst curse in the world, and it can also be our greatest gift among the sciences. And I'm so proud to have worked with the responsible citizens of Webster Parish and have been part of that effort to prevent that largest open chemical burn in the history of our nation. And we did find a good solution. It's the most advanced contained burn system in existence in the world. And I have no doubt. Your voice, okay. Okay, you've heard already that such a system will cost in the ballpark of about $25 million, and that's the biggest one in the world there. Clean Harbors, as a corporation traded on the New York Stock Exchange, has a revenue, annual revenue of $3.2 billion. They have $400 million in operating cash flow annually, and they pay their executives millions of dollars, plus stock compensation in the millions. So I'm not concerned about their viability to behave responsibly. This thermal treatment facility in Colfax is a big concern to me. It's way behind its time, and it is something that is not only a nuisance, but it's a threat to public safety and a hazard to people's health. And I'm speaking from experience and a lot of study in this area. And I hear people say, well, we have all this waste, it needs to be destroyed, and they're destroying it in the way that the EPA says they can let it be destroyed. Well, I'll tell you, it's not being destroyed, it's being transformed and it's being dispersed. You cannot destroy the element lead. You cannot destroy the element cadmium. Okay, and you're also going to disperse a lot of the materials in their native form because the combustion is incomplete. So if you're going to take lead and perchlorates and chromates and barium and cadmium and nickel, what are you going to convert a lot of these things into? Other things that are very harmful, such as lead oxides, things that are carcinogenic, things that get sequestered in every single organ of the human body. And you may not find them in people's blood, but I understand that some people in Colfax are having their blood tested, and one lady has found lead in her bloodstream. Why is our Department of Health and hospitals not doing this on their own? Why are they leaving it up to people that are concerned about this?
So, can you wrap it up, please? We get down to your time
yes. Limit. Well, I'm very concerned about comments I've heard in the media, aspersions cast against professional associates of mine, and I would caution Mr. Retallick to be more careful in what he's saying. He was quoted as saying that the water in the retention pond over in Colfax is drinkable. And I'll tell you that it's been found to have 47.5 parts per billion of lead in that water in that retention pond, among other things.
You have exceeded your time. Thank you very much.
You have my 3 minutes.
It doesn't work like that. Your name, sir?
No.
Your name?
Carl Latchow.
Take him out of the thing. Okay, start. Go on.
I apologize. I came in late.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to raise that point. 47.5 parts per billion in that retention pond. It is coming from this open burn operation. If it's ending up in that pond, it's ending up over their property line. Now, what about what's going on in Flint, Michigan? We hear about the EPA administrator at the point of having to face resignation, the governor of Michigan. What about all that? The people up there, their water has only 27 parts per billion. And we have Mr. Retallick, drink up. Be my guest. Go up there.
Please sit down, sir, or you will not be given the gratitude that you've already exceeded your time limit, and now you're using someone else's, and you're not following the protocol of the committee.
All right, well, what happens to lead oxides once they get into the human body? They enter the nostrils, okay, they get in the trachea. The small particles will go all the way down to the base, the very fine structure of the lungs. They'll travel to the bloodstream from that point. They'll get sequestered in every single organ, and then they can be reduced. These lead oxide particles then can replace calcium in every single enzyme in our body that needs calcium. And this is toxic. This can be damaging to the endocrine system. It can cause neurotoxicity, especially in young children, okay? And it's disruptive. It's carcinogenic as well. So lead is not even in the permit that they're supposed to burn it. It's like a Trojan horse here. They're permitted to burn some things, and yet they're sneaking lead in here in all these different materials, detonators, okay, these waste explosive materials. And the EPA is not even questioning this. It's beyond belief to me. And in no other state in our nation is something like this happening. So in closing, I would say that I don't want to live in a state where DEQ stands for doesn't even question. Okay? Our Department of Environmental Quality, I think, is the most important organization in a state like Louisiana, and we need the oversight. And the people on this committee need to have the technological savvy and have done the research to provide that oversight. Don't put it all on the governor and on the director of the DEQ. It's up to all of you, too, to be very responsible. And I want to see that.
Thank you very much.